Hello, introverts and extroverts. So my parents divorced when I was 8 years old. I know, heavy subject to start off with, yes, but it's something that heavily impacted me as a kid, but I mean, obviously, it is relevant to state before this story, so that you guys don't get confused on why my dad had a girlfriend, and, just understand my general state of mind. Being 8 years old was a very difficult time for me. Sure, as an adult it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're that young, your parents out of the blue getting a divorce, at least in my perspective, being the only kid in your school to have divorced parents, your school getting shut down that same year, needing to go to a new school only to get bullied worse than what you experienced before. It's a lot of changes in a short period of time, and it's a struggle when you're a kid that's barely reached double digits. Now, my mother kept all 4 of her kids in the divorce, which meant that I saw my dad for 2 days every second weekend, but right when the divorce was fresh, my dad moved into the house right next door, like quite literally across the street, so I could see him anytime I needed to, but damn, now that I'm thinking about it, it sounds like the plot of a sitcom. But both of my parents got new partners a few months after, maybe less. My mom got with the man who is now her husband, and my dad got a girlfriend before eventually having the girlfriend he has currently, and I'm gonna talk about the previous girlfriend, not the one he has now. Let's call this ex Brooklyn, or Brooke for short. Brooke was extremely verbally abusive. She was the kind of person who's like, "I'm blunt and honest," before saying the most mean and unnecessary shit. I mean, like, you can be upfront with people and not be mean about it. I'm just saying. The first day I met her was interesting, to say the least. I don't remember much from meeting her, but I remember one crucial thing. Brooklyn was showing me and my younger sister each of her tattoos and what they represented, and keep in mind, I was 8 years old and my little sister was 7. When she suddenly... I'll have to warn you girls, this one's a little more embarrassing. She showed us a tattoo that was on her ass cheek. To 2 children she was meeting for the first time. Even as a kid, I thought that was weird as fuck. But as an adult, I'm like, what the fuck was she thinking? You shouldn't be showing your ass to an adult you just met without their consent. Showing it to a child should have, I don't know, maybe warranted some jail time, and obviously no one did anything about it because it was a woman. But what if a man did that to 2 children? Like... Keep in mind, this was a woman in her early 40s. Not that it justifies anything, I'm just pointing out she was damn well old enough to know what the fuck she was doing. Needless to say, I didn't like Brooklyn that much after that. That, along with her attitude, like she'd get pissed off that my art wasn't accurate enough. Ma'am, I am 8 years old. I only knew how to draw stick figures. Sorry I wasn't born already knowing how to draw. Another example I can think of her being weird requires a bit of context first. So my family tree is quite interesting, to say the least. It requires a bit of explaining. So my mom was married to my older sister's father in her 20s and had my oldest siblings before he left her. Then she eventually got with my dad, having me and my little sister in her 30s before they divorced a few years later. And now she is married to my stepfather, bringing my stepsister into the family, who's just a little older than me. 3rd time's the charm, am I right? Jess, why are you telling us about your mom's divorces? Isn't this video about your dad? Yeah, I told you, I'm getting to that. So, my oldest sisters are technically my half-siblings. And like, I also have a stepsister. So technically, from my father's perspective, now that he and my mother had gotten divorced, he technically no longer is required to have a relationship with my older sisters, and certainly none with my stepsister. Yeah, that seems like a pretty simple concept to wrap your head around. So it's safe to assume that Brooklyn barely knows anything about my older sisters, and definitely nothing on my stepsister, yeah? Okay. Where are you going with this? She got a tattoo. She did what? She got a tattoo that represented me and all of my siblings. At the time, all minors that she's barely known or never even met. And also, now would be the time to inform you that I've only met Brooklyn like 3 times the entire 7 years that my dad was dating her, because she was from the good old US of A. So even I'm confused on why I'm a permanent part of this stranger's anatomy. So this tattoo, right, it was of a tree that had colored hearts on it. Each colored heart represented me and my siblings, and it had like each of our favorite colors on it that my dad had to ask me for. So it's definitely not something that Brooke found out by, you know, getting to know us. And she had my stepsister represented in the tattoo. That boggles my mind. You have a tattoo with your boyfriend's ex-wife's new stepdaughter represented in it. Like, she's nowhere close to you, and you knew nothing about her other than just her name. That's so fucking weird! Like, my dad has barely seen my stepsister, other than the occasional hello when picking me up on the rare occasion that she's visiting her dad while I'm leaving to visit mine. A few years after the divorce, my dad was no longer able to rent the house next door because the guy who owned it wanted to sell it rather than letting my dad continue to rent it, so he had to live with my grandma, the one who's currently still alive. Her place was a couple of hours away, so every 2 weeks my dad would drive all the way to where I live with my mom to bring us back to my grandmother's place. And that's when I started noticing things a bit more. Like, basically every night that I went over and I'd go to bed, I'd overhear Brooke just yelling at my father. And eventually I started to piece together what she was angry at him about the most. Usually it would be like minor things, stuff that in normal relationships, calm, level-headed communication would solve, but other things were a lot more personal. You spend all day with those little brats, and you don't spend any time with me. Brooke, I only get them for 2 days every second week. That's 52 days total a year. I talk with you every day, just a little less when I'm with them because I actually want to spend time with my girls. You know this. I don't think you love me. I think you love those fucking bitches more than me. I can love all of you the same. They're my children. Well, maybe you should just leave them. They're young. They can forget that you even existed, and we can live our own lives. I don't want that. I like being a dad. They're dad. They need their father. Their mommy has a new boy toy. He can look after those sluts. My dad hit some hard times financially, like really hard times, and Brooke wasn't having it. Even though she knew my dad was struggling, she gave him an ultimatum. He needs to visit her soon or their relationship is over. But my dad didn't have the money to do so. So you know what she suggested? Sell your car and get plane tickets right now. You know, just his car, the thing that gets him to work so he can make money, the vehicle he uses to see his daughters no matter how low he is on money, the car that he uses to physically drive the 7 hours it takes to go see her, instead of, you know, flying her own ass over here to come see him. She's trying to convince him to sell his car. Instead of, you know, waiting however long for him to save up. She's essentially saying, choose me or your children. Choose me or your job and your income. Because, like, his work was over an hour away from my grandmother's house. Not exactly convenient to be relying on a bus every day for that. Like, am I the only one who thinks that ultimatum is actually stupid as fuck? As someone in my own long-distance relationship, commanding your boyfriend to sell the one thing that allows him to go to work and make money? Because 15-year-old me thought it was pretty fucking stupid. Jess, I need to talk to you privately. you're old enough to understand, I need to sell my car. What? Why? I need the money to go see Brooke. Dad, take a moment to actually think about this for a moment. How would you get to work? How would we get to come see you? You wouldn't. I wouldn't. Okay, Dad, listen to me carefully. Brooke has been manipulating you, abusing you for too frickin' long. I hear her, Dad. I hear her yell at you for hours on end. That's not love. If what you had with Mom wasn't love, this certainly isn't either. A person who loves you wouldn't make you give up the children that you already have. If someone loves you, they'd wait till you were actually able to actually see them. Or do it their own goddamn self. You're right. I've tried to break up with her, like, multiple times now, and she keeps forcing me to stay. I'll leave. For real this time. And so my dad chose his children that day. But Brooke wasn't having it. You useless asshole! I've given you everything, and this is what you fucking do to me. If you don't take me out. So that's the end of it, right, Miss Cartoonist? Why are you looking at me like that? So after 7 years of long distance, Dad was, like, done with Brooke. Brooklyn, however, was spiteful. She started getting close to my uncle, my dad's brother. My guess is to hope that one day, her and my dad will date again, or by being friends with his brother, he'll be forced to keep in contact with her. Whatever the reason, I can guarantee it's not healthy. As for me and my little sister, she somehow thinks that she still has the right to have a relationship with us when all we've ever known about her was how abusive she was to our dad and, like, I guess what her ass looked like. I had restricted and blocked a few of her accounts whenever I see them pop up because she'll try and message me acting like she didn't try to get my father to abandon me. Like, ma'am, I want nothing to do with you. I don't want you to commission me. Oh, speaking on that, she tried commissioning me acting like she didn't know who I fucking was. Do you ship to the USA? Ma'am. These are digital commissions. There's no shipping involved. Like, you're not slick. I can recognize that face anywhere, and last time I checked, her account was filled to the brim with AI art, so she doesn't really value art that much in the first place. She just probably wanted to get in contact with me. My dad, however, is in a much better place now, mentally and financially, with his new girlfriend. I have trust issues, so I don't really have much else to say on that, but if he's happy, I'm happy for him. Moral of the story, don't be abusive, and, like, don't show your bare ass to children, or I might just make a video on you. I'm joking, obviously, but still, that was pretty fucking weird, wasn't it? Hey, hi, Cartoonist here. Did you know that only a small fraction of you guys are actually subscribed? If you like my stuff, subscribing to my YouTube channel shows the algorithm that you want to see more of me. So if you want to support what I do, because these videos take a lot of time to make, please like, comment, subscribe. You wouldn't believe how much that does for me, and if you want to help in an even bigger way, you can donate to my Ko-Fi or become a YouTube member. And also, here, some lovely fan art that you guys submitted. Look at all these cute little drawings. You're all so talented. And also, one last thing. I get this question a lot. How do I get access to the Discord? I have put it in all the descriptions of my videos on how it works. But basically, now, every 4 months, we open the server for free for 1 week. No, you don't get kicked out after the week is up. But basically, I wanted to pick a time so that the people who pay to get in actually feel like it's worth their money to get in early, but not too long that people don't have to wait forever for a free week to come around. So basically, the months that have a free week are in April, August, and December. April being my birthday month, December being the anniversary of the Discord server being created, and August is the month just in between those two. So keep an eye out for when the link is posted during those months. And with that, stay safe and stay tuned for more.